Hey there, this is Teacher Ola Podcast episode 187, The Last of Us, 10 phrases you need to know. My name's Ola and I believe you can eliminate your language blockade. You can speak English with more confidence, slay that fear and enjoy free, easy communication. Visit my website for full transcripts and worksheets to each episode. Visit my shop at teacherola.com and enjoy your journey to fluency. Happy learning! Hello there! Another English live class behind us. This time we met to talk about the first episode of The Last of Us. It's a great show, quite surprisingly highly useful for daily conversations. I do recommend watching for pleasure, but also for education. Last Tuesday we had a live class. You can purchase access to that English live class in my shop at teacherola.com. What you get is access to the recording from our lesson. Additionally, you'll receive materials to help you get ready for the lesson. It's a checklist and a list of questions. After watching the recording of English live class, do your homework. It's also included. I picked 10 phrases from the checklist for further practice. So let's begin. 1. At war. The original phrase from the show is this: mankind has been at war with the virus from the start. To be at war with someone or something means that there is a state of conflict, hostility, or disagreement between two parties. It often refers to a military conflict, but it can also refer to a non-physical conflict. Here are 2 example sentences. The 2 neighboring countries have been at war for years over a disputed border region. Ever since she got promoted to manager, she has been at war with her own work-life balance. 2. To pose a threat. A sentence from The Last of Us. Just to be clear, you do think microorganisms pose a threat. So, to pose a threat. When something poses a threat, it has the potential to cause harm or damage if not addressed or avoided. For example, the wildfire posed a threat to nearby homes and forced residents to evacuate. The rising tensions between the 2 countries posed a threat to global security. 3. And it gets worse. Listen to this bit. It's an excerpt from the script of the first episode, first scene. The fungus starts to direct the ant's behavior, telling it where to go, what to do, like a puppeteer with a marionette. And it gets worse. The fungus needs food to live, so it begins to devour its host from within, replacing the ant's flesh with its own, but it doesn't let its victim die. It gets worse. It's often used to indicate that a situation or a problem is becoming increasingly difficult or negative. Here are some other sentences with this phrase. I thought I had already hit rock bottom, but it gets worse. My car broke down. First, we missed a flight, and then our luggage got lost. It gets worse. We had to spend the night at the airport. 4. He's dependent on me. It's about Tommy, Joel's brother. To be dependent on something or someone means to rely on it, to need it in order to function or achieve a certain goal. It refers to a situation where one cannot do without a particular thing or substance and may experience negative consequences or difficulties if it's not available or if it's not accessible. John has become so dependent on his medication that he cannot function without it. The economy of the small town is heavily dependent on the local factory. 5. Supposedly. A fragment from the script. Fedra's got a factory down there in the QZ. Supposedly only makes 2 things, pills and bullets, bullets and pills. Supposedly. It means something is believed to be true, but there's no proof or it's not confirmed. The novel is supposedly based on a true story. Supposedly, the new restaurant in the town serves the best pizza, but I haven't tried it myself. 6. I'm not supposed to be here. This is what Ellie said in the first episode when she was kept by Marlene and fireflies. Listen to these 2 example sentences. He was supposed to meet me at the train station, but he didn't show up. The cake was supposed to be chocolate, but it tastes like vanilla. 7. Shake it off. This is what Tess said to Joel. Now we just shake it off and we go get our cards back or the battery. So to shake something off means to get rid of something that's bothering you physically or mentally. For example, the athlete tried to shake off his injury and get back in the game. She tried to shake off the feeling of disappointment and focus on the positive aspects of the situation. 8. He's gonna get the wind of it. It's the same conversation between Joel and Tess about the battery. So this idiom, to get the wind of something, means to hear about or find out something, usually something that is meant to be kept secret or private. The journalist got wind of a scandal involving the mayor and began to investigate. I got wind of a new job opening at the great company. 9. The team will not jeopardize that. This was said by Marlene to Tess and Joel and Ellie. And to jeopardize something means to put something at risk or in danger of harm or even loss. For instance, the athlete didn't want to jeopardize his chances of winning by competing with an injury. Not studying for the test would jeopardize their chances of getting a good grade. 10. You mumble in your sleep. Ellie said this to Joel before they started their journey. He was killing time by having a nap. Anyway, to mumble means to speak or say something unclearly and quietly so that it's difficult to understand what's being said. I hope I don't mumble too much. Examples. When he's tired, my dad tends to mumble and I have to ask him to repeat what he said. The actor mumbled his lines during the play. There you go, 10 expressions from The Last of Us, Episode 1. Listen to some of the sentences once again and this time say them out loud. The two neighboring countries have been at war for years. The two neighboring countries have been at war for years. The wildfire posed a threat to nearby homes. The wildfire posed a threat to nearby homes. I thought I had already hit rock bottom, but it gets worse. My car broke down. I thought I had already hit rock bottom, but it gets worse. My car broke down. John has become so dependent on his medication that he cannot function without it. John has become so dependent on his medication that he cannot function without it. The novel is supposedly based on a true story. The novel is supposedly based on a true story. He was supposed to meet me at the train station, but he didn't show up. He was supposed to meet me at the train station, but he didn't show up. She tried to shake off the feeling of disappointment. She tried to shake off the feeling of disappointment. I got wind of a new job opening at a great company. I got wind of a new job opening at a great company. The athlete didn't want to jeopardize his chances of winning by competing with an injury. The athlete didn't want to jeopardize his chances of winning by competing with an injury. The actor mumbled his lines during the play. The actor mumbled his lines during the play. Awesome! Now go to your inbox and get the worksheet to test yourself. Translate the sentences into English, and if you're not a member of Top People, download the worksheet from teacherola.com/187. Don't forget to visit my shop at teacherola.com and get access to English live class with that very episode of The Last of Us we've talked about today. And if you find this episode useful, tell your friends about my podcast. Thank you so much for doing so. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Happy learning, take care, stay fearless, and say it out loud. Bye-bye! Masz blokadę językową. Dużo rozumiesz, ale nie mówisz płynnie. Brakuje ci słów, czasem tych najprostszych. Nie potrafisz szybko reagować. Jak masz coś powiedzieć po angielsku, zżera cię stres. Masz blokadę językową, bo rządzi tobą strach. Na szczęście można nauczyć się mówić swobodnie. Serio, można nauczyć się mówić swobodnie. Weź udział w darmowym wyzwaniu Powiedz coś. Wejdź na stronę powiedzcoś.pl. Zapisz się na darmowe wyzwanie. Your journey to fluency starts now. powiedzcoś.pl